Hello, and welcome to another What a Week That Was. Because it was a week, and it's been. It's been an interesting week for a number of reasons, least of which is the fact that, it's been nice. It's quite worrying, isn't it, when the weather's actually nice. All the daffodils are out, but there won't be any left by Sunday because all the kids will have cut them down to give Mum for Mother's Day. Cheapskates. I don't think I ever did that. I don't think I ever gave my mum flowers, I'll be honest with you. Anyway, so it's been nice weather, and we like nice weather because nice weather's good. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to join in the chat. Got a different setup this week. So hopefully I can see what is going on whilst you are watching this too. So, what's been going on? Well, I'll be honest with you. I have been monumentally huge. I mean, busy. That's much bigger than I anticipated it being. So we'll do that and get it out of the way, I think, because that was ridiculously huge. It's been a very busy week for me, even though the shop's been shut. I've been clearing out all the remaining stock, and then we've been moving all the shelves to it's storage at two different places for storage, and it's just been a nightmare. And there's me thinking, yay, we've got it sorted, we've got somewhere to move to, we've signed the deal, yay. No, it all went Pete Tong again. But anyway, enough about me. Well, it's never enough about me, I'll be honest. We need to look at what's going on in the world, not just what's going on in my life. And what's going on in the world is Rishi Sunak, him who everyone seems to like, did the spring statement this week. Now the spring statement is where it's not a budget. You've got to remember, it's not a budget. It's a spring statement. And what confuses me about it is, it's a budget. But Rishi played it like a professional. I think he wanted to be the next presenter of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I remember the oldie days when Chris Tarrant got the cheque and went, "You've won £32,000, but I don't want to give you that. I want to give you more money." Well, that's basically what Rishi Sunak was doing. He said something on the lines of, paraphrasing, but you get the gist. It's time to, for the first time ever, we're going to knock, or first time in 20 years, whatever, we're going to knock money off the petrol tax. But we're not going to knock 1p off, we're not going to knock 2p off, we're going to knock 5p off. And everyone's going, like that, like they do. And then he goes on about the national insurance. Now, in order to pay national insurance, you had to earn, again, ballpark figure, around about 10 grand, and then you start paying national insurance. But 13 grand, you start paying tax. And he said, what we've said is over the years we're going to get it to level up so that it's the same for both. He said, so I'm proud to announce that we're going to do £300 increase on the NI national insurance contributions, as in where you start paying it. So it's gone up 300 quid. He said, but we don't want to do that. I'm going to do the whole 3,000 and odd. And everyone's going, like they do. Which was moderately impressive. And yeah, okay, it doesn't make a massive difference to people's lives in any way, shape or form, but it's better than what we were expecting. There were a few other bits and pieces in there as well, like for example, if you what's it called? Oh yeah, want to insulate your house. He said, we're not going to knock the VAT down of home insulation and heat pumps and all that kind of stuff. We're not going to knock that down by 5%. We're going to get rid of the VAT altogether. It's amazing. And it was like, wow, this guy knows what he's doing. Then he went to Sainsbury's. He filled up a car, eventually, in the petrol station. Not his car, because he doesn't have a car. And then he tried to pay contactless. It just went very wrong. I mean, I think he's a perfect next Prime Minister after Boris. But, he needs to learn some real life stuff, like, you know, how to use a card and things like that. But when you're a multimillionaire, you don't worry about stuff like that, do you? You just transfer everyone and get your minions to do it, I suppose. So yeah, quite worrying, but also quite amazing at the same time. And we like amazing, we like worrying. People like worrying about being amazed. Meanwhile, in Afghanistan, which was recently taken over by the Taliban, the schools for girls, secondary schools, were to reopen this week. So all the girls got there all excited, and then the Taliban said, no, no girls can be taught in secondary schools because we have to figure out what uniform they're going to have to wear or whatever. So basically, just cutting back on the promises that they give about it being a more liberal society, and they don't want women of the future to have a good education, which is tragic on many, many levels. But there you go, what can you do? Well, we tried doing stuff and that didn't end well, did it? The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge have been on a tour of the Caribbean. They've been to Jamaica, where they basically got told by the President of Jamaica, it's nice to see you, but we want to be a republic, so we won't need you in the future, which was nice. And then they got rapturous applause in other places, lots of kids waving flags, etc. It's basically to celebrate the Queen's 70th year on the throne. I don't mean she's been on the toilet forever, I mean actually on the throne as the Queen of England. Which is quite impressive, let's be honest. Not many people have done that. I say not many people, no one's ever done that. So it's very impressive indeed. So yeah, the Queen is celebrating her 70th year by sending her grandson and his wife to Aldi, apparently. Anyway, down to the Caribbean and get mixed receptions, different places. They were going to go somewhere and they couldn't go because there was a protest going on. And then when they got to where are they now? No, they're not in Jamaica. Are they in Barbados or whatever? Wherever it is, it's absolutely pouring down with rain anyway. And there's pictures of them jumping through puddles, or walking through puddles with umbrellas, trying to keep dry. Oh, it's lovely. I do like that picture as well, though, because it reminds me a bit of the Popemobile. You know, although it's older than the Popemobile, no doubt, because it's not the Popemobile, it's something else. Anyway, we have had a tragedy as well this week, in China. Sadly, there was an aeroplane crash. I can't remember, it was a 737 or a 7... It was a Boeing anyway, and it's crashed, and sadly over 130 people have lost their lives, and it also did a bit of a forest fire as well, which is not good at all. It's very bad, in fact. Not very talkative tonight, you guys. Come on, get talking. What else have we got going on? Oh yes, Scotland has got a record highest level ever of COVID. Is that high? Oh, my finger can just about touch it. There you go. That is the highest rate of COVID since records began, which admittedly was only a couple of years ago. And we're like, oh, why is that happening? Oh yeah, because people who have COVID no longer have to isolate. What could possibly go wrong? Scary thing is the hospitals are starting to fill up a little bit now. Admittedly not where they were last year, but certainly increasing a lot, which is putting extra pressure on people who are having, and I've said this all along, heart attacks, strokes, accidents, all that kind of thing. You can't get into hospital on time in Scotland in particular, but certainly around about everywhere at the moment, because they're dealing with that many people with other ailments, including COVID. So yeah, not good at all. Bring back the masks. That's all we need to do. Just bring back the masks. And if you get COVID, you have to stay at home. I mean, it's not rocket science, isn't it? Let's let the vulnerable people live a bit longer, shall we? Rather than killing them all off with our freedom that we seem to be so happy with and so demanding of. It's ridiculous. Talking of freedom, a place that isn't getting any freedom at the moment is Ukraine. The ultimate warlord president, that guy there, is doing an amazing job. He's been talking again in English this time, doing a video saying to the NATO, you can't, okay, we understand you can't join in the war, but give us 1% of your tanks and 1% of 1% of your tanks and aeroplanes, your warplanes, and we will fly them. We will use them in order to get Russia to retreat. But the thing is, and a fair play to the Ukrainians, they're already doing very well. I mean, literally very little. They are destroying tanks and armoured vehicles of Russia on a scale that no one would have thought possible. Okay, it's not a huge scale, but it is a big scale. Bearing in mind how big the Russian army is. And you see pictures on the news of loads of tanks, loads of buildings, all flattened and destroyed. And you're thinking, you know what? It looks like the Ukrainians need a little bit of help and they could push Russia back. Who knows? They could even invade Russia. Now, wouldn't that be amazing if Ukraine invaded Russia and instead of Russia we had a massive, massive, massive Ukraine? That'd be amazing. And then we could have our world leader. Of course, there's one man who doesn't want that to happen, and that's Vladimir Putin, who allegedly has said that Boris Johnson is his biggest enemy and he wants to basically, well, destroy everyone and everything. He is basically, like I've said, for weeks now, a Bond villain. But he's not a very good Bond villain. Rumours are as well that he's going to be using chemical weapons, which he's used before. Obviously Salisbury in the UK, and to be fair, before then in London as well. If you're old enough, you might remember the guy who got poked with an umbrella which had a pellet on it, which had some kind of poison on it. It was Russian, and it killed him fairly quickly as well. So yeah, the Russians are not averse, if things are going wrong, to use the wrong weapons. And there was also a picture as well, which I've not managed to find again since, that was like an umbrella, kind of black like that there, black, with a city underneath, and then these streams of something coming down, phosphorus or something like that, and apparently that's an illegal weapon. Now what I can't understand is, if you're at war, who agrees what's legal and not legal that you can use when you're at war? It just seems a bit bonkers. I mean, obviously you shouldn't be using weapons on civilians anyway, and let's be honest, he shouldn't be using any weapons on Ukraine because it's not his territory. He has no right to be there. He's just being a big bad bully, but they're fighting back, and we like that. David and Goliath, and let's hope that Goliath wins. Well, let's hope Goliath loses. Different Goliath. This guy is Peter Hebblethwaite, and he is the boss of P&O Ferries. He is the guy who's admitted in Parliament that he broke the law, sacking 800 of his employees with no warning, no consultation, and didn't even inform the unions or the government that he was doing it. He just sacked them via video message, and had other people waiting in minibuses, some of whom are getting paid less than £5 an hour allegedly. We don't know that for definite, because they are foreign nationals, and also he's using the international waters as a way to mean that he doesn't have to pay UK minimum wage because they're sailing out of the UK jurisdiction. I'm sure that's very illegal. Anyway, there's been loads of calls for him to resign now, and that includes from the Prime Minister himself, who has been all over the place. He's been to NATO and talking to people, and looked very lonely as well at one point. Sadly, I didn't get a picture of that because there was no one there to film it. That's true. It may not be true. I don't know. So, and that's basically the news. Although no, I need to find a picture of Boris looking all miserable and lonely, because it was quite funny. Although he had shook hands with people before then. No, wrong one. I picked the wrong one up. Now, Biden has been to Poland to visit his people in Poland, and yeah, there we go. There, I found the picture this time. His soldiers, and basically saying that we are there to support the government of Ukraine, and we are going to do our damnedest to make sure that they stay safe. But we can't go in there, because if we do go in there, then we are going to possibly cause a third world war, which will end very quickly, because as we've already discussed, Putin would not be, if it's going wrong for him, he would not be adverse to just annihilating the whole planet. I mean, the guy is a complete nutter, let's be honest. Oh, I said that. Oh no. What are we going to do now? Oh, see what he did there. So basically, the owner of P&O told workers to pee off. I see what you did. That's clever. That's clever. We like that one. Not a lot. We do like it though, but not a lot. Right, I've got Boris's picture. Just need to. Was that there? Was that there? Stick that there. Do that there. Then go back to that. Go there. Go down to the bottom. Pick it up. There we go. So there's Boris looking all forlorn. He'd already shook the hands of the people around him. To be fair, that the woman in the fawn trousers, well, not trouser suit, but the fawn skirt thing, she looks a bit like she's not talking to anyone either. I think Boris just wants to be centre of attention, let's be honest. He's a bit of a centre of attention kind of guy. Because that's what he is, a kind of guy. And everyone loves him, except for people who don't like him, obviously. So yeah, that's basically what's gone on this week in the news. So although there's a lot going on, it's also been a bit quiet as well. So yeah, we'll go back to P&O, shall we? So if you remember last week, we were talking about P&O employees on ships, on ferries, coming into port and then getting a text saying, link to this video. Click the link to the video. And it was a video of a really badly filmed video, nearly as bad as this operation that I'm doing here. Basically telling them that they were all fired, and there was no warning, no nothing. And they said they've done it in order to save money by getting in cheap labour who may or may not know how to sail ships. I assume they've been tested at least. But then they're offering millions of pounds of compensation to the people now. Which I don't understand, because if you're trying to save money, then why don't you just employ them and just pay them regularly, rather than offering millions of pounds of compensation, which you didn't have to pay if you hadn't sacked them. It's bizarre. It's the same logic as privatising something and expecting it to be as good as it was before, but cheaper. If you're privatising it, that means a private company's got it, and the private company basically wants to make money from it, because that's why they're doing it. Whereas if it's a government thing, for example, prisoners, taking prisoners to and from prison, used to be the prison officers doing that, but now it's some security company. And when they first started doing it, it was rubbish. And they were paying more than what they were paying when they do it themselves. And it's like when you have big companies who have window cleaners go around cleaning windows rather than having the locals do it. They charge more, and they don't necessarily do a better job. So privatisation of jobs and things like that is mad. And this guy here deciding that what he wants to do is basically save money by having to spend millions of pounds in compensation to people and admitting his line, and probably lose his job, because he definitely deserves to lose his job. then I just don't get it. I don't get it. It's yeah. I think he needs to go. Definitely. Let's go back to Rishi and the statement that was made on Wednesday. I watched it live. I was actually sat in a car park, Tesco car park. Oh yeah, this amused me no end. I'm driving into Tesco, which is, if you know Wigan, it's the Central Park one. And when you drive in from the traffic lights, on the left is the petrol station, and then on the right is the big car park, and then at the top of the hill is the Tesco store itself. Couldn't get in off the traffic lights because all the cars were queuing up to get petrol, stroke diesel. Panic buying, which I've been going on about for ages. What is the point of panic buying when there are people who need petrol to get around? Like, you know, I need it to get to my mum's every week, but people need it for the jobs. Carers, people, well, van drivers who deliver parcels all over the place. People, nurses and doctors who need to get to where they work. All that kind of thing. That's important. Not some old guy who probably may not, you know, may leave it as an inheritance, this tank full of petrol, because he's bought that much and uses the car that little. Oh, it infuriated me. So when I pulled up in the car park, and then I put the YouTube video on, I'm watching the video of, live stream of Rishi doing his statement, and then he says, at 6 o'clock tonight we're going to knock 5p off the price of petrol. Oh, I did laugh. Oh, I did laugh so much, because I thought all them idiots there had been panic buying, and if they come tomorrow, they could have saved themselves 5p for every litre. And how many litres is in a car? 40, 50. So 40, 50 times by 5p is a lot of money that they've saved, but they've wasted it. And not only have they wasted it, if they're the people who've bought it panic buying, and they've spent that much money on it, then okay, it might be worth more. No, it won't be worth anything because it's in a car. But the money they've saved is, well, they haven't saved anything. It's just mad. British people, eh? Selfish to the end. But like I say, Rishi was very proud of that, and that's why he went to fill up a car in the Sainsbury's car park. To be fair, I only caught a bit of the video. I didn't see the whole thing. But you can see here he's trying to pay contactless by touching the screen with the card instead of the machine, which is down here. And it wasn't his car he filled up anyway, so I don't know why he was even paying for it. To be fair, I don't think he did pay for the fuel. I think he just paid for his Coke and his sweets, because he's got a sweet tooth apparently. He doesn't drink alcohol. Now a lot of, I think not all, a lot of them, I think all of the chancellors in the past, when they're doing a budget, are allowed to drink alcohol. It's the only time alcohol is allowed in the House of Commons, is when the Chancellor of the Exchequer at the time is reading a budget out, and it's only for their use, no one else's. So he doesn't do that. He just drinks water, which is nice, I suppose. It's nice. That's nice. It's nice. The weather. Go back to the weather again. Thankfully, it's not been hot enough for people of my age to walk around with no top on, but it's certainly been a lot warmer than it has been lately, and we need to enjoy this because it's not going to last long, folks. This time next week we'll be back to long trousers and woolly jumpers and coats again, because it's going to go rather cold, less than 10 degrees, high temperatures, and possibly windy and the odd shower. So I'm not a weather reporter, I'm not a Wine Evans, I can't play the drums either. But yeah, there you go. Let's go back to COVID. Surprised he never said it was his wife's cars that failed. You're a bad man, Tough, but very funny at the same time. COVID. Right, I know people who've died from COVID, I know people who've been hospitalised by COVID, and I know people who've been bedridden by COVID. And I'm not just talking old people. I'm for the people who died, but I'm talking young, fit lads who've ended up in bed, ill with COVID. So it's quite worrying that it's firing up again, and it seems even more weird that Wales today has decided to announce on Monday, you have COVID. Oh God, I hope you're okay. That they're lifting the restrictions on having to wear face masks in confined spaces, and the restriction of wearing of isolating if you catch it and you know you've got it. I'm like, well, just look at the rest of the world. It's peaking not only in Scotland, and it's going up in the UK as well. Got Kim Jong-un in leather. Oh, whoa. Sorry, I know I was talking about COVID, but this is much more important. Kim Jong-un in leather. That sounds like I'm getting a bit pervy about that, doesn't it? I'm not. Kim Jong-un. Oh my God. Oh, they've done a... Oh, that is fantastic. That is really, really good. Let's have a look at this. So, Kim Jong-un, the supreme leader. What is it with mad leaders who dress insanely? I mean, Yeltsin's basically always walking around with no top on, riding a horse through a river, and Kim Jong-un. Oh, this is a good call, Toff. I'll give you that. Am I allowed to say something on an advert I saw on TV for him? Of course you are. Oh, wrong one. Hang on. That one. There, and we go there. Oh, they got all of the Metro apparently. Yeah, what was it in there? Oof, done. Go back to that. Go back to that. Click on that. Go to that. Click on that. Go to that. Go to the bottom. And there we go. Kim Jong-un in a leather jacket. He'll be firing his rockets yet, won't he? Again, we love him for that. We don't love him for anything. Whoops. I've just clicked on the completely wrong thing there. Organic sanitary products for females. Okay, I can see where they're going with this. I think. A bit like the organic wipes now. If you've got baby wipes, things like that, they're going organic. I never realised how much plastic was in them. They cause a lot of hassle in sewers. But why anyone would flush one of them down the toilet is beyond me. So I assume that it means that they're not going to clog up landfill. They'll just rot away very quickly. Don't mean they'll have a use-by date on them. That'd be weird. But yeah, Kim Jong-un. There he is, looking all... I suppose if you think about it, Angela, in the past was they all were organic, because we didn't invent unorganic stuff. So I suppose in a way it's already been done, and hopefully the technology is a bit better than what they used back in the day. Fingers crossed and all that. It's not something I'm overly familiar with, to be honest. I know that shocks you, but what can I say? Talking of shocking, that picture is huge. I don't know why it's so big. It doesn't need to be that big. Let's get it down in size. So yeah, that's me today in the shop. I do look a bit rough, but that's because, well, I'm not working, so I don't need to shave every day, and I'm not sleeping because I'm stressed and I'm working hard. I'm getting muscles now. Look at that. Look at that. I've got muscle. Oh. Because I'm moving all my stock around. But rumours are it's going to be in Wigan Watch, which I'm going to be putting up later. That the building work, surprise, surprise, isn't starting on time. Who would have thought it? I'm trying to have a new shop, but the problem I've got is every time I get somewhere and I think, yeah, we're making progress here, something crops up. Last time it was the asbestos situation in the basement, so the landlord said, we'll just block the basement off, and I'm like, well, where am I supposed to store my stuff? And then the last one, which was only today, is there's a possibility that a new tenant, because there's 2 units empty next to each other, there's a lot of units empty in Wigan, let's be honest, but a new tenant of one of the units next to the one I'm looking at may want to knock through into the shop that I practically agreed everything on. So I'm not happy with that either. So yeah, I'm having a torrid time. So yeah, it's all a bit bad at the minute. Can't you open a shop near me? Well, where are you? And plus, you got COVID. No disrespect. I don't want to. You know. I'm saying this. If there's others talking, sorry, I can't see it. No, I've only got Angela and yourself talking. I haven't got anyone else talking at all. We had Ian talking rubbish, but other than that, there's been no one else talking. Be fair, according to this, there's no one watching either. But we've had 19 views. So, it's... yeah, I think the internet's a bit arsey today. Although, be fair, the good news is we've not lost any drop frames. So, that's always good news. And that's why I'm doing it this way, because I see more here on the big TV screen than I do on the tablet, because for some reason it doesn't always show the talking on the tablet, because you were quite chatty last week, and that was me thinking, oh, no one can be bothered talking, and then you were all chatting away and I just completely missed it. So yeah, we're all good in the hood, but it's always good to talk. But yeah, going back to Wigan, the money's coming from China. What could go wrong? Oh, I can now. I'm on another tablet. So can you see Angela, or is there other people talking as well? Oh, I'm getting confused now. There's other people talking as well. I need to look on here now, don't I? Oh, what a week that was. Oh no. No, yeah, it's just Angela and Toff. That's alright then. Whew, panicking. I were panicking then, lad. Panicking. I don't know what's going on with the internet web, I'll be honest. It's been a bit weird lately. Not in a good way. Not that anything's good at the moment. But yeah, I did feel a little bit sorry, only a little bit, for Prince William. He's not even king yet and he's already been told. Yeah, but all others is just Angela. There's no one else Jackie. Everyone else is shy today. Shiny. But those behind me, shiny, sha-na-na-na. Where shall we go? We'll go back to China, but not for, you know, a sympathy thing for China. This aeroplane crash that ended up in a wood somewhere. I'm sure it was a 737. And China's record of aeroplanes and disasters is very good in the fact that they don't have many disasters. So this is quite an unusual event for them. But what I couldn't figure out was it a 737 MAX, which are the ones that have crashed before and ended up being grounded for months whilst software checks were done. It was nothing to do with the actual aeroplanes, it was the software. Something to do with the stalling or anti-stall, and it basically made the planes crash, and that you had 2 planes crash and well over 500 people killed. And I'm just wondering, please God, don't let this be another one of them, because that'd be horrendous if they've put these planes back in flight and something like that happens. It's just very, very scary indeed. So anyway, normally do 30 minutes and we've done 35 minutes. Oh, morning, Paul. So we'll have a quick run through what we've been talking about, or I've been talking about. Oh. 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 That's been discussed before, Angela. And don't take this the wrong way, but I like my stock to stay in my shop unless someone pays for it. I like my car to have its wheels when I go back after work. No, it's I've spoke to a couple of people who've got shops in that area, and they're looking at moving away. So, but no, it's the thought. But I kind of want to stay in Wigan because that's where all my regulars are. So you know that's the main reason for that. Anyway, was doing a roundup. So yeah, I'm doing a roundup. So we were talking about the spring statement from Rishi Sunak, which he delivered as if he wanted to be the next presenter of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. No, I don't want to give you that tax cut. I want to give you this bigger tax cut, which I think he played rather well. And then everything was shot to pieces when he borrowed someone's car to pretend to put petrol in it, and then tried to pay contactless by putting his card on the plastic screen. I say his card, as Toff pointed out. It probably wasn't even his card. It was probably someone who was with him at the time. Then the Taliban. Who'd have thought the Taliban would renege on a promise of education in secondary schools for girls under the Taliban regime, which they've never had before. And then all of a sudden it's like, no, we've changed our minds. We need to figure out what the girls have to wear. So I imagine it's either going to be a full burqa, or they'll just faff around and all people forget that the women want educating. Let's be honest, you know, these young girls educated would be a benefit for Afghanistan. It's struggling at the moment, so it seems a bit of a silly thing to do. Talking of a silly thing to do, Prince William and Kate going around the Caribbean. I have to say it like that because we get American viewers. If I say Caribbean, they won't know what I'm on about. So yeah, going around there and promoting the Queen because she's 70 years on the throne. And as I said before, not the toilet. A leader who's been around too long and forcibly is Vladimir Putin. Everyone's favourite... no one's favourite anything, I'll be honest. A villain. But no, he's more than a villain. But it's not going well for him at the moment. A lot of his armoury is being destroyed by the Ukrainians, who, let's be honest, they're not naive. They knew that Russia was next door because they used to be part of Russia back in the day. So they knew one day, probably, this would happen. So they've been preparing for this for decades. And Russia go in with their old, antiquated military hardware, their soldiers who are not the best trained, shall we say, and are surprised that they've got a fight on their hands. Now, I'm not saying if anyone invaded England, I'd be out there with a rifle, but you never know. I probably would be, to be fair, if you can get a rifle anyway. So power up to the Ukrainians, and of course their wonderful leader, whose name I wouldn't even dare to pronounce, who's just, he's like a god, isn't he? Absolutely amazing guy. I haven't got a man crush on me or anything, don't worry about that. I'm just saying, he's the kind of leader we want, unlike the P&O boss leader who admitted in the House of Commons to MPs that he broke the law, sacking his employees, 800 of them, via text, video message, without any consultation or any warning, and already had people lined up who were getting paid half the price what these people are getting paid to save money, and then offers millions of pounds compensation once he's realised he's done wrong. It's almost like Wigan Council for giving him advice, I'll be honest, or even Boris for that matter. But no, to be fair, Boris has told him he needs to resign. Thanks to Toff, we got to see Kim Jong-un in a Top Gear guise. You've got the crew cut going on there. Shades and the leather jacket with a bit of fur on it. Of course, he's got more fur than Tom Cruise. Yeah, that's something that sounded all right in my head. Didn't sound all right then though when it come out. And then COVID. Cases rising around the world exponentially. That means a lot. Because everyone's lifting restrictions. Yes, we have to live with COVID. I get that. I'm not saying we should all be locked in our houses and not get out. But masks on buses. If you get COVID, you have to stay at home. These are basic things. These are not doing anything to your human rights. What's going to do something to your human rights is if you ever get hit by a car crossing the road and get taken to a hospital and you can't get in because there are too many people in there who've got COVID. Okay, they're not dying from COVID anymore now, but they're still taking up hospital beds and taking up resources. Plus the staff are getting COVID as well. So they're doing the right thing. They're going off work. So yeah, let's just have a bit of common sense, shall we? We've got to live with COVID. It's going to be forever. So masks in confined spaces like shops, buses, trains, planes, coaches, that kind of thing, and probably corridors of schools as well. Inside, not outside. And if you get COVID, you have to stay at home. You stay at home if you have the flu. So why is this any different? Exactly, Toff. The thing that gets me is you've obviously got these what I call hipster bearded gentlemen and Karens who seem to think that rules are not applicable to them unless all of a sudden the rules are what they think. So, for example, when Boris said you didn't need to wear masks anymore, it's personal choice, they haven't been wearing them anyway. But they think they've got more of an argument now about it. And like, no, you haven't. You haven't got an argument at all. We don't listen to Boris. We listen to the scientists. Listen to Boris. I mean, where would that get at any of us? Anyway, I digress. But Scotland has got record cases. Wales cases are levelled off, but they'll go up now from Monday. It's all just a bit bonkers. We need some restrictions in order to not have other restrictions and risk anything happening to us. Like, I'm at the age now where I could have a heart attack any time, or a stroke, or a tumble or whatever. And now I go to hospital. I want treatment straight away. I mean, I've not been to a doctor since I was 11. So I'm not a burden on the NHS at the moment, but I'd like it to be there if I needed it. Just get the treatment. So just wear a mask. Just be sensible. If you get COVID, or if you think you got COVID, have a test. Remember now, the new symptoms of COVID do not include loss of smell and taste. Do not include a fever. So just test yourself. I test myself every week, and I'll be amazed, to be honest, this week, because I'm going to contradict myself here now, because I've been carrying stuff around and pushing cages of heavy stuff and loading the car up and unloading the car. I've not worn the mask as much around people because I'm out of breath and I need to breathe. But when I'm just walking around normally, or if I go to Tesco, or if I go into the newsagents or whatever, I always wear a mask. If I go in the market, I'll wear a mask. But if I'm working, then I won't wear a mask. And to be fair, when I'm carrying stuff, pushing stuff, I'm not standing with someone for 20 minutes, like nose to nose. And I wouldn't get in if I got in a bus or anything, I would wear a mask. I mean, it's just common sense, just for the courtesy of other people. And there are people out there who are vulnerable, and we need to look after them. End of rant. End of rant. Talking of Boris, which we were a few minutes ago, cuts a lonely figure there, which is sad really, but it's not sad. saying that. It's not actually that sad, is it? Let's just do that so you can see it a bit better. At the NATO summit that they had, I don't even know what they agreed, to be honest. More of the news was about him just standing there looking a bit lost, even though they'd shown him shaking hands with everyone, you know, doing like a Tony Blair, hello, 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 kind of thing. Wrexham, walk around Wrexham, watch that video, you'll get that. So yeah, that's it. We've done 45 minutes now, normally I only do 30. So thank you to Toff, Paul and Angela. You're the only people who spoke. And yeah, best wishes to Angela. Get well soon. And hopefully we will catch up with you next week and you can tell us you're all clear. I listened to Radio X and Chris Moyles last week had COVID and was working from home, which I wasn't expecting, to be fair, because it's Chris Moyles. But no, he worked from home. He was in his man cave doing his show and everyone else was in the studio and all that. So yeah, it was good. What's going on here? It's all gone. It's all gone. GBTV, GB News. Oh, we're back. So anyway, thank you very much for watching, if indeed you still are. And all being well, we'll see you again next time. About 8 o'clock UK time, in the evenings, and we will see you then and see what a week next week was. I still haven't got that right, but anyway, look after yourselves, stay safe, wear a mask. Bye.